Hey guys, I am a former Girl Scout leader, still member of Girl Scouts. I have a travel agency, and over the past 10 months, I have been to Savannah a total of 5 times. I see a lot of Girl Scout troop leaders that post things on different social media sites with questions about trips to Savannah. So I wanted to give you guys my top 5 must-know tips before y'all book or even go to Savannah. So the first one is parking. It is a nightmare. You're going to end up walking everywhere. So be prepared for comfortable shoes, mostly no sandals. The thing about Savannah, it is historic city. So what you're going to find is uneven sidewalks. They have a lot of streets that were made with brick. Somebody stole some of the bricks. So you have to kind of pay attention to where you're walking. So make sure no sandals, and I would wear comfortable tennis shoes minimum. I mean, if you got something that's got non-slip soles because you're close to the water, I would do that also. So my second tip would be, if you're going to be traveling with a bunch of girls and you're going to be traveling back and forth from Tybee Island to Savannah, keep in mind it is a 30-minute distance. So I would plan to do all your activities either in the historic district for that day and the rest of them on Tybee, or vice versa. Driving back and forth, you got to keep in mind, depending on if there's traffic, but minimum 30 minutes traveling distance. So that was one of the issues we had. We cut it close on a lot of activities that we had. The third tip I would have is, we've done both. I've done trips without a group tour company planning everything, and I would not recommend doing it on your own. The reason why is because we went and it was raining. We had to rearrange things, and all it was they called us and said, hey, due to lightning, we can't do this activity, but we're going to move it to this day. All of our activities kind of got changed around for us to fit due to the weather. Otherwise, if I had done that on my own, which I have, we would have to have just canceled, and we wouldn't have had the convenience of having someone else book that. The other benefit of having a tour group do it is meals also. We have been down, wanted to go eat at one of our restaurants we've ate at before. Due to staffing issues, you can't order the meals to go, or they were booked up weeks and weeks in advance. So that's another issue, is when we went with a group, our meals were already, we picked what we wanted to eat. When we got there, we just said we were with this group. They brought out our food. It was already paid for. Tip was included. It was done, period. It was so convenient compared to some of the times when we went down, we had to wait 2 hours just to get a pizza. We have had to eat dinner at 3 in the afternoon because that was the only time frame that was available. If there was a restaurant we wanted to eat at, they were like totally booked up, and there was no way we could eat there. So if you can, book it with a tour company. Check prices. There is one that, we'll just say for an example, when we went, the girls paid $360 per girl for 4 nights, activities every single day that we were there. And then the other tour company that someone else recommended was $1,200 for the girls, and they didn't have as many activities that we had for the 300. So keep that in mind. There are some things that are free in Savannah. So like SCAD, they have a museum. It is free of charge, most of the time for students. So check on that when you're down there. Again, food reservations, definitely I would call ahead if you don't want to go through a tour company. The benefit of staying in the historic district is the only time we had to drive was to go to Tybee, which was twice. The cost for parking on Tybee runs about $30. So keep that in mind. That was for all day. There's an app that you can download onto your phone. I would do that to pay for parking while you're on Tybee. I think that's more convenient than trying to run back and forth. And this is my biggest recommendation. If I can give you one tip, this would be it. If you're going to book the Lighthouse and the Science Center, do them both on the same day. Do the Lighthouse really early in the morning, as soon as you possibly can, because it's not so hot. It is humid in Savannah. And I would do that, park at where the fort is. There's like a little parking area next to the beach and where the Science Center is. The Science Center has moved. If it's been a while since you've been down there, it is right beside of where the fort and the lighthouse is. So don't park where the lighthouse is. Park, go ahead and pay for it for the whole day down in next to the Science Center. Go ahead and park down there. Do the lighthouse. You can do the fort because I think it's included. Walk back down to the beach area where the Science Center is. And then what we ended up doing was we ended up going down to the pier, which was on the other side. We didn't know the Science Center had moved. It was a disaster trying to rush to get back down there. So we were on the other side of Tybee Island when we realized this. So I would just walk down there, let the girls spend as much time on the beach. There is a little restaurant type area down there that has like sandwiches and burgers and that kind of thing. And it was decent, really good food. And then the Science Center is right there. They can do the Science Center. And then when you want to go back down to the beach, that would be my biggest recommendation that I could tell anybody. If you're going to plan a day, do the lighthouse, the fort, go to the beach, then the Science Center. If you want to go back to the beach or back to the hotel or whatever, and then just eat there at that little restaurant, and you are set. Like, that's a whole day without having to get in the car and drive everywhere. That would have been if we would have known, we would have done it that way. It was a nightmare. The parking is small there, so it gets full fast. So go ahead, and what I would do is park there instead of parking at the lighthouse. If you have somebody that has difficulty walking, that's one thing, but I would not skip on waiting till lunchtime to park down there because it gets so full. It was like 10:30 and it was already full. My other recommendation I would say is when you're looking at hotels, ask them about the size of the pool versus how many people are going. Like, my favorite place to stay is the Embassy Suites because of how big the room is. There's a couch, like a little living room area, so you don't feel like you're on top of each other. That's usually where we end up staying just because my kids are older and they don't like to, share a room anymore with their siblings. So that way we kind of got best of both worlds. So, but their pool is so small. Like, if I took 5 girls, it would, that's about as minimum they could get in the pool. The Hampton Inn, which is right next door, their pool is bigger. But it's just like a regular hotel room. So, I know a lot of people will book the homes with kitchens and do all their meal prep and stuff there. And that's fine. Keep in mind that the parking there is going to be minimum. So if they're expecting 2 cars and that's all they have, and you end up bringing somebody who decides they want to drive down there, you might not be able to park close by. So I would not recommend, basically, I would check first, period, about where the parking is and how many parking places. And if you were taking a van, make sure the hotel knows you have a van, so that way there's plenty of parking. We've been down before, and we've heard people at the front desk complaining, going, hey, we have 2 vans down here, and we have nowhere to park because there's 2 other vans parked in the parking lot. That's all they had was 2 parking places. So make sure you check on parking. And then nobody really can get around that well in wheelchairs or walkers or that kind of thing. So if you have anybody with difficulties in that regard, keep that in mind. It is, tree roots are pushing bricks up. Bricks are missing. I'm going to tell you, like, every one of us about fell every single night. I'm going to do another video on what activities that we did and let you guys kind of check that out. But I just wanted to make sure if y'all are planning a trip, what you needed to know right now. And then if I think of anything else, I'll add on another video. Thanks, guys.